Howdy everybody. In this video I want to talk about another must that you must be doing if you're building a spec home. In the last video that I did, I talked about a mistake not to make, or something that you have to do if you're building a spec home, and that was doing the selections for the house, and that kind of leads into what I'm going to talk about in this video, which is budgeting and putting a budget together. So I find that a lot of people that I've spoken with, they don't have all of their exact costs documented before they start building, and they just kind of start going along and paying for things as they go along, and they end up finishing the project, and it's not as successful as what they thought it would be. Now, if you did that, if you went through the process of building a spec home, and by the time it was all said and done, you sold the home, and maybe you made way less than what you thought you were going to make, wouldn't you want to know that before you even start? Of course you would, because maybe you wouldn't do it. Maybe you would pick a different plan. Maybe you would pick a different lot to build on. Either way, you're going to want to know that before you get into it. So in the last video, I talked about selections, and the selections flow into putting a budget together. So when we put a budget together, we need to have a full set of blueprints, and we need to have a selections form, so that when we're getting numbers from our contractors, we're getting the number for what it's going to be to rough plumb the house and supply the fixtures that we've chosen and install those fixtures. We're going to get a number from the framer, from the window manufacturer, on how much it is for the exact windows that we want. To get an accurate number of what my windows are going to cost, I need to have chosen, are they casement windows? Are they double hung windows? Do they have grids in between the glass? What color are the windows? All those things go into getting an accurate number that you can then fill into your budget. Because if you just go through the build process and you're ordering things as they come about, and you get to the end of the process and things didn't work out the way that they did, it could be because the windows that you picked were, $1,500 more than maybe another window that you could have went with, which the home would have sold just as quickly and just as easily. But if you'd have went with this other window, it would have been $1,500 less, and all those little things add up. So having your selections done and your selections form filled out is going to attribute to you being able to put together an accurate budget. The other thing that is going to go along with putting an accurate budget together is having the blueprint, and having the exact blueprint for the home that you're going to be building. So if you've got this blueprint for a house, and it's got 9-foot ceilings in the living room, but really you're going to be doing 10 or 11 foot, or even a cathedral ceiling, you need to make sure that's on the blueprint, because you're going to be getting a bid from the lumber company and from the truss company based upon the blueprint having a 9-foot ceiling. So then if you change things and you end up having a taller ceiling or a cathedral ceiling, that's going to add a couple grand to what your initial amount was. So those are all things that if you've got your blueprint and there's no more changes on it, you've got that exact, you've got all of your selections picked out, those two things are going to allow you to get an accurate budget. So when you're putting a budget together, you should have a budget sheet, a budget form. For us, we use a pretty basic Excel spreadsheet where we've got line items for everything we need a cost for, including blueprints, getting blueprints drawn, building permits, porta potty, dumpster, lumber, cleanup, every little thing that's, holding costs, whatever you're going to be paying in interest throughout the construction loan. If you're getting a loan for a spec home, you're going to be paying interest. Commission. Are you going to be listing this and then paying a real estate agent to sell it? So you want to make sure you've got every little expense accounted for, and that way once you get all of your numbers back, that this is the exact price that it's going to cost me to build this home. Then you can determine, and this is going to go into the budget sheet as well, what your profit and overhead's going to be. So you're going to also take that number, put it into the budget sheet. You're going to take the lot price and put that into the budget sheet. Now you know exactly what you need to sell your home for, because you've got what your exact building cost is, you've got the price of the lot, that you know what you paid for the lot, and you've got what you want to make. So those three numbers add up to $450,000. So if you sell the home for $450,000, or even a little bit under that, you're hitting that profit and overhead amount that you filled in there, and that's going to be amazing. But again, in order to know that ahead of time, you've got to have the exact set of blueprints. You need to have the foundation plan, the electrical plan, all of the detail, so that you can get exact bids from all of these contractors. You don't want to just get a ballpark from the foundation company and then they're just going to send you the bill when they're done, and it's $5,000 more than what you thought it was going to be. Same thing with the lumber. Once you get the lumber, they send you the bill after they drop off the lumber. Now, one thing to be wary of, especially with today's market and how crazy lumber prices are, and they are coming down, they're headed in the right direction. So again, today's November 3rd, 2020. A few weeks ago, a lumber package for a home was about double of what it would normally cost. It's still close to that, but not, you know, let's say it's 30% more than what it would cost. It's on its way down. So December, January, February, things should be, you know, not back to where they were, not back to normal, but a new normal. You know, things won't be crazy, you know, 50% more than they were before. So, or 100% more, I should say, than they were before. So when you get a bid for lumber and you're maybe 2-3 months away from having lumber dropped on the site, you're going to get a bid for the lumber for what it costs today. And then when they drop the lumber there come December or January, you're going to be paying what the lumber price is then and there. So you may be paying more than what you were quoted, or in this case, this is extremely rare, you may be paying less than what the initial quote was, to where that's just an extra little bit of profit margin for you. So that's amazing. You want to make sure you're getting exact numbers for everything, so you know exactly what the cost is before you start, and you know exactly how much profit and overhead that you can put into the project based upon what you know you can sell the home for, or based upon what other homes are selling for. So if you know your cost to build the home is going to be $350, you know, and including the lot, and you can only sell the home for $375, that's like the max that you can get for it. Well, you don't want to price the home at $400,000 or over $400,000. You know you're going to need to be closer to $375. So if you've got your budget done and completed, then at least you know what your exact cost is, and you know what your sales price needs to be in comparison to what's selling out there. Okay, so I do have a consulting service that I offer. It is $99 a month, and that covers an hour-long phone call per month, or three. We can do 3 half-hour phone calls per month. You know, text, emails in between, to an extent. But these forms are forms that I can share with you that would be part of this. So the selections form, the budget form, so you know exactly all of the numbers that you need to get in order to have an accurate budget. If you're interested, I've got my email address in the details below. You can email me and we can get set up that way. Okay, so just a quick recap of this video. Putting your budget together before you even start the house is super important. Little thing from last week, ordering certain things like windows, doors, lumber, trusses before you even start, or the day that you dig the hole, is so crucial to keep you on your timeline. But the budget, and doing that budget before you start, tells you exactly what the build cost is going to cost you. So again, you know if maybe you should maybe even not do it, or maybe do it on a different lot, or pick a different house, or you know exactly what you're going to sell it for and what your profit margin is going to be. Definitely important information to know before you start. So how do we get to that exact building cost? We need to have all of our selections picked from windows, exterior doors, all the way to the little trip toilet flush lever on the toilet. We need to have all the selections done so that when you're sending out to get bids to the different contractors, you're sending them the blueprint, you're sending them the selections form. They've got all the information that they need to give you an accurate number. So you've got to have that full set of blueprints that are exact, no more changes, the selections done, and that way you can get exact numbers to put your budget together. Okay, well, that's going to do it for this video. I've got one more video in this little series of things that you have to do before you're building a spec home, and I already kind of talked about it a little bit in this video, but I'll go into more detail in the next video about it. So thank you so much for your time. Have a great day. God bless. If you don't subscribe already, please subscribe. Hit the little bell for notifications. That way you know when I put out new videos like this. Thank you so much.